Okay, Rosaria D'Alfonso was instrumental in getting us translation of the original book. And this was, she gathered an army of English teachers, and they went to work in to translate the articles that are in and the Italian women in Chicago. And I haven't been using the Madonna mia qui devo vivere. Do you get that? Mother of God, do you mean we have to live here? And it was quite a shock for those early immigrants to come from sunny Italy, a village life, to the slums of Chicago. And, you know, if you think slums are bad now, push it back to the turn of the century, they were much worse. In any case, Rosaria D'Alfonso was has been working with us on many different projects, and she was very instrumental in getting the book translated into Italian. Rosie, are you there?
Yes, I am, and I would like to address the
Okay.
audience there in Stone Park.
Okay.
In case my connection is low, I wrote something down, Dominic, so
I got it.
Yes, the experience of translation for Italian women. Actually, we collaborated with students.
She turns her video off.
Should have a younger authorship, but there was a group of students who collaborated in the translation from high school, among the best chosen, and some colleagues. So English was involved in the publication of translation into Donne Italiane of Chicago.
Rosie, if you turn off your video, we'll get your audio loud and clear.
Okay, I turned the video off. So as I was saying, to us, it was an experience with a group of translators from the Liceo Scientifico, where I was working in Eboli, colleagues, professors, teachers of English, and the best student translators. Dominic, I recall that you came to Milan when I had just become a school principal, where we presented the book.
Yes. Yes.
Elena on the of culture. Have you received the book?
Indeed.
Oh, good. So actually, it's the story of my childhood in Chicago, Illinois. There is a forward preface, and I seize the occasion to thank personally Kathy De Nicola, who believed in this mission about writing about my grandmother. Actually, it's about living with a grandmother, but not only about grandparenting, but it's also about how you learn another language. In this case, after my homecoming here back in Italy, I was 9 months old when we migrated to the United States, and 12, almost 13, when we came back. I had to learn the Italian language, but this was quite a task. Alessandro Manzoni was too difficult for me, of course, and I came from a background of dialect, Riccianese and Nicosiano. One from Ricciano, which is a very small village, a very remote village in the province of Salerno, along the border with Lucania, Basilicata. The other was a Sicilian dialect. So, you know, the book aims at as a principal now, teaching Italian to foreigners. In this case, we're talking about the Ukrainian community coming in, these children who are escaping from conflict, from war. So it's we're teaching Italian, perhaps we should also consider that in the land of origin, many are not speaking the standard language altogether. They might be coming from dialect. So language interference, the silent phase, and some pretty funny things come out of this story. So when I received the invitation that there could be a second volume with new contributors of Italian Women of Chicago. This personally that I could contribute as a translator, but also as a writer. And I would focus on my mother's story that also comes out of Elena's story from Ricciano. And I agree with Dominic up our DNA and and this work is more than just a work of fiction, a kind of picaresque story that could appeal both to homecomers and home leavers, because any migrant story, even Italian Women of Chicago, homecomers. So perhaps we could also include stories like my mother's stories that, by the way, intersects some of the protagonists already described in the stories of Italian women. Ruby Seritella. Ruby Seritella is from Ricciano. My mother was from Ricciano. My mother is still living. She comes from Ricciano.
Ricciano is
the story would be about coping both ways, you know, leaving Italy and having to cope with a new country, American life, and then going back home, which was the having to cope with that. Could read something from Elena, The Beauty of Dying. Couple of minutes.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so from you have it there yourself?
Yeah, I have it. Let me read it.
Sort of backwards, but anyway, Kathy,
I'll read it. One day we were at Marquette Park with my mom while she was busy picking chigari. Only later did I learn the English translation chicaris, and this was some time after we had been approached by one fine lady in the park who asked us, "What is that?" My mom replied, "Chigari," and I felt so embarrassed about the trespassing that all I had to say was, as an answer, was, "It's spinach." At the time, trespassers were fined, and I was pretty much aware of that. The park was no tax-free picking place. That was supposed to be only in our backyard. And from page 54, you cannot survive anywhere without una fatica, a job. In Italy, my mother was desperately searching for one. As soon as we arrived in southern Italy, my mother knew well that without una raccomandazione, you could go nowhere, not even to make a birth certificate in the town hall office. There would be long lines, and you would be left to wait endlessly and watch other people step ahead of you. The smart ones would get in before everybody else in the usual way. Mi manda. So and so is expecting me. Customs certainly may vary from one country to another. Those are touching little vignettes. Maria Rosaria. But this book, we're passing it around. I don't know did it get to Carla? There's one that, this book is meant for you to keep, but the others are there to look through it. And it seems as though it is a documentation of a transnational experience going both ways. Maria Rosaria,
Yes.
siamo pronti.
Thank you so much for your attention. And this was my suggestion. And of course, if the new version of Italian should be translated, we are always available here, both for our own stories and the translation. Saluti a Casa Italia. Saluti Carla. Carla, the book is for you, and Dominic.
Okay. Thank you very much.